Merry Christmas, everybody. So, as I think my old time or long time fans know, I am severely visually impaired. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a Christmas gift for all of you who are curious about how some things work for the severely visually impaired or what we do. And I know the most common curiosity for many people is, how does Braille work? How does Braille feel? Well, you guys know Braille is just a bunch of dots. Um, and it kind of just doesn't feel like anything to someone who hasn't been trained to feel it correctly. Um, Now, for anyone who is new to this channel, don't subscribe if you want this kind of content. This is a one-time thing. I normally make Transformers Prime ASMRs. But I will go ahead, for the sake of this video, and show you how Braille works, how it functions for a blind person, and what exactly how to read it if you're looking at dots or you're feeling dots in a Braille cell. So, first of all, what exactly does a Braille cell look like? Well, kind of looks a little something like this. And we are not going to be able to see what we're doing. Hang on, let me amp up my pen size a little bit to a size 3. I am using a Samsung Note 10 Plus for this video. I'm using the S Pen, and I am using the photo editor's drawing tool. So, just to give you an idea of what I'm using in case you want it. And my circles are not perfect, but this is what we're given, so this is what we're going to do. So, I'm going to start off with 6 dots. Actually, I need to make these a bit bigger so I can do what I need to do. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to start off with 6 dots. There we go. Here, let me make this one a little bigger. Bring up my eraser size to size 5 so I can make this one a little bigger. Okay, then we'll do this one again. Now, these 6 dots are aligned just like this. And of course, you have the numbers 1. Oh, hang on, let me make that one a bit better. We're going to zoom in just a little bit for this. So, for these 6 dots, you have the corresponding numbers of 1. Hello? 1. Hello? Oh, what? Hang on, everyone. The pen has ceased to function. Please. Did I accidentally change the color? What? Hold on. The pen has ceased to function. Oh, okay. We're working now. Alright. So we have the corresponding dots of 1. Oh, why will you not? Oh, is it because I'm 2? Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Make that a better 3. Hang on. There we go. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Hang on. Let me make that a much better 6. Let me size my pen down a little bit for this. Oh, excuse me. That was the neighbor's car, if you heard that. 6. Let me just trace over that so you can see that a bit better. 6. So you have the corresponding, hang on, sorry. You have 1, dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, it's very important that you don't screw up the number arrangements. For example, let's just go ahead and do some undos here. You cannot do 1, oh, hang on, let me size up my pen again. 1, 2, 3, needs another thing, 4, 5, and 6. I know I did that wrong, but you can't have something like that because the dot placement is very important for... Hello, undo thing, will you work with me? The dot placement is very, very important for trying to write out letters and trying to read letters. Now, typing Braille is a whole different ballpark because I'm trying to get rid of this black dot. It's just a dot on my screen. I don't know what it is. But the point is, when you're trying to read letters, you are going to have some difficulty because you need to know exactly where the dots are in order to read a letter. So, for example, we're going to size up my pen majorly here to size 5 so I can fill in this whole dot. The letter A is a dot 1. Now remember, blind people don't actually see these. This is just a bump that we feel. But our fingers are, let me draw kind of a finger here to gauge. Oh no, I don't want to restart. Thank you. Let me draw a finger here so that we can gauge what you're looking at here. A finger is trying to read this Braille cell. So this Braille cell is a little tiny, maybe not even an inch wide thing on a piece of Braille paper. So if you were looking at this and this canvas was a piece of Braille paper, it'd be a very, 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 very teeny tiny piece of Braille paper, not even the size of a small Post-it note. So that's just kind of your idea of what a finger is doing right there. Okay? So now what we're going to do is, you guys know that A is a dot 1, right? So let's say you want to do a B. Well, B is kind of obvious. It's a dot 1 and a dot 2. So that's a Braille letter B. Now, if you wanted to make a letter C, you'd think it would go dots 1, 2, 3. Or dots 1, 3, right? That's great in theory, especially if you're a math person. Excuse me again, my apologies. I have a cold and it's Christmas. But anyway, you'd think that would be a C, right? For any math person, that'd be very logical. But here's where it starts getting complicated. Because when you get rid of this, the C is actually a dot 1, 4. Dot 1, 4. And remember, my circles are really bad, guys. These are not what Braille dots feel like. They're bumps. They're like boom, boom, boom. Or boom, 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 boom. You know, little Braille bumps. Just, I'm making these dots bigger so you can actually, see what you're doing with, see what you're working with, especially if you're someone who's like severely visually impaired, but you can still see just a little bit. And if you're curious about how Braille works, then this is what you do. So, what we're now going to do is, you have the basic concept, and obviously a D now is where you add some dots. You have a 1, 3, 4 as your D. So that is a Braille letter D. Now, what do you do if you have a capital or a number? There we go. That actually did what I needed it to do. I was very grateful for that. So let's say you have a capital letter. Let's actually restart because I need to make my Braille cells a little smaller. So let's zoom in here and say that we have a capital letter. So we'll go ahead and draw 2 little Braille cells. Maybe not zoom in quite so much. Right there. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, let me make that 6 a bit better. 6. And then right next to each other, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hang on, let me make that dot 5 a bit better because it looks like it's filled in. We don't want it to be filled in. 5, 6. So you have 2 Braille cells here. Now, so you want to make a capital letter or a number sign. Now, I'm not going to get into anything like... Actually, you know what? Can I redo these Braille cells? Hang on a second, guys. I want to redo these Braille cells because they look just positively awful in this big pen. So I should have sized my pen down from the beginning. So let's redo the Braille cells, and this will get you some good practice on what Braille cells look like, so it'll be nice. So again, 1, 2, oh, that's better. 3, 4, oh, whoops, and I just totally did wrong. That was my fault. 4, 5, and 6. So we have one Braille cell there, and then again, another Braille cell next to each other. 1, 2, oh, I'm making that way too big. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is not evenly aligned. That would bother me. 5 and 6. Okay, so right now, your Braille cell just kind of looks like 12 dots floating there. Now, remember when I draw these dots, you don't actually feel open circled bumps on the page. The open circles are basically meant to represent where a Braille cell actually is, but you don't actually have any open circle feeling there. This is just to kind of gauge where your dots are at so you can feel them and figure out what letter makes what. And I could make the entire alphabet by drawing Braille cells, but we'll be here all day, and hopefully at some point I'll be getting a Christmas dinner, so I want to try and do this fairly speedily. But I just wanted to do the 2 Braille cells here to show you how you can make a capital letter. So say I wanted to make a capital, let's make a capital R because my real name actually starts with, actually we'll make my YouTube name. Let's make a capital S. So the way you make a capital is actually A.6. And then to make an S, I'm sure you'll get this in if you have a beginner's Braille book and you desperately need it, or you can buy one somewhere, I'm sure. But if you have an S that you need, an S is dots 2, 3, 4. Now, don't get confused, because you actually, when you think of the dot numbers, you don't think of the dot part. Your S is dots 2, 3, 3, and 4. So now that I've labeled these dots for you, I'm going to go ahead and color them in. So dots 2, 3, and 4. Come on, pen. There we go. Okay. So that, my friends, is a capital S. Now, whoops. What if we want to make a number? Now, again, I'm not going to go into Nemeth code because Nemeth code for numbers is the most complicated thing in the world to learn. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, honestly. It's just so bizarre. It isn't that complicated once you know Braille, but the thing is that you kind of need to really be fluent and efficient in Braille to know Nemeth. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about the number sign in general, and you can actually write numbers without Nemeth code. It's just the same a letter with a number on it. But of course there's more than 26 numbers, so you're going to have some double digits, and I'll show you how that would work. So first of all, we need our number sign, and our number sign is going to be dots 3, 4, 5, and 6. So dots 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let me just color those in. Dots 3. Guys, again, I'm really sorry my circles are not the roundest circles in the world. I'm not an artist. I'm an ASMR person. And plus I was making these very quickly. If I was making these for, like, if I did a commission, if I did art commissions, I'd be making them a bit better than this. Now, understand that I have, I'm not just a TVI. I've actually had to learn Braille because I'm blind in my right eye, and I can actually read large print fairly well with my left eye, but, I just wanted to show you the basics of Braille and how it works, how it functions, what you can do with it. So now that I've done this number sign, which is dots 3, 4, 5, 6, you'll read this before you read anything else. You're going to start with your numbers. Now, just like with the letters in Braille, your number 1 is obviously a dot 1, just like the letter A. I'll go ahead and close in this dot. Why not? Of course, when I do an undo, that'll get rid of that closure, but that's okay. So this is a number 1. Let me center this a bit better for you. So this is a number 1. And again, I hate to repeat myself, but I just want y'all to know, when you look at Braille, you don't see open circles. That's just to gauge where your Braille cell is. So now that you've seen a number 1, well, you're probably wondering what a number 2 is like. And of course, if you guys remember that a letter B was dots 1 and 2, then a number is also dots 1 and 2. There we go. So now let's say you have a double-digit number that you want to write. Now the easiest way to do that, obviously, and the only way to do that, is to have a Braille sign 2, and let's make the age that I am. Let's make a 21. So we're gonna make another Braille cell. Oh, I did not mean to change my color. Whoops. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay, sorry everybody. So we'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 dots on your Braille cell. These are really tiny dots, but that's okay because I'm zoomed in. So you've got, let me just zoom us out here so that we've got an idea of what we're looking at. We have a number sign, which is here, N, S. You have the number, which is here, N. And this would be the first digit, so N1. And then we'll have N2. What is it with me and 2s today? Goodness. Whoops. Sorry, everybody. That was me pressing a button on the S Pen I didn't need to press. So that's just giving you an idea of what these Braille cells are used for. So we're going to get rid of all this. Sorry, everyone, that's family coming home. So, say you've got a number sign 2. Now, say you want to make a 21. Well, that's simple. We know what 1 and 2 are. So, if you've got a number sign here, and a 2 here, if you want to make a 1, then you'd go over to this teeny tiny set of dots over here, and you'd fill in a dot 1. Now, there is number sign. Here, let me get rid of the little lines I did to mark everything. So, there is your number sign 1. Now, you are probably wondering, how do I type this garbled nonsense? And I will show you how you can do that. But that is going to require me to get out of this picture because we actually need a landscape picture for this, and we're using a portrait picture at the current moment. Here are some pictures I drew that we're not going to be focusing on. Let's see if we can't find my white landscape picture, if that's possible. Here it is. I went the wrong way. Okay, so we're going to go here. And we're going to go to our drawing mode again. And we're going to flip the phone to landscape. Now, I do apologize. Actually, I should probably keep it in portrait because that way I can zoom in and do whatever I need to do. Now, you're probably wondering how you input Braille onto a paper. Now, there are two ways to do this. The first way you can input Braille onto a paper is with a little thing called a slate and stylus. And the slate is something that kind of looks like this. It is definitely more rectangular than that, but basically every single teeny tiny little Braille cell has got its own set of little holes. So you've got 1, 2, 1 and 4. Here, let me redo that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the entire slate and stylus, this is just one Braille cell, but the entire slate and stylus can be filled with this arduous amount of Braille cells. And the way you do it is with this little tool here that I'll try and draw somewhere. Here. We'll just draw a little stylus. Oh, wait, that did not look like. So it has a little pokey bit, and then it can have any kind of handle you can think of. Most of them kind of look like this, but this little pokey bit here is actually made of metal, and that actually pokes into these holes here, like this. Just pokey poke, like if you're drawing with an S pen or a pen in general. And it just pokes in there, and it makes really, really good and nice Braille if you poke it in hard enough. Now, a slate and stylus is what they used in the old days of Lewis Braille, but those things are complicated. So I'm going to show you a much better way to do this. Now, this is the same thing if you have an electronic Braille writer like a Braille Note or a PackMate, if Freedom Scientific still makes those. Oh, and that's actually someone I'm needing to talk to in just a second, but we can ignore that and just kind of keep going. But let me just show you a Braille keyboard real quick. And a Braille keyboard is going to be another rectangle. Hang on, I went a little too down on that slope. Let me do that again. So it'll be a rectangle, and then it will have keys that kind of look, whoops, not like that. Oh, wait, no. I wanted the undo button. You'll have keys. You'll have a little, if you're on a humanware device, this will be your Braille display, and then you'll have various little Braille cells. But if you're not on a humanware device, and if you don't have that, then a regular Braille keyboard on a Braille writer will look something like this. A backspace key, and then dots 1, whoops. You do that a bit better, hang on. This key, and then you'll have 1. I am not good at making Braille keys, hang on. 1, 2, 3, and then you have a little bit of a gap. And, oh, hang on, we need to make this keyboard bigger. Let's make this keyboard a bit bigger. There we go. And then I'll just use my little eraser here. I'll size this up to 3. We'll just get rid of... Hang on just a minute. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and then another key here, and then a little space bar right there. So your keys are going to consist of 1, 2, 3. So dots 1, 2, and 3. This will either be a backspace or an enter key, depending on what you're doing. Actually, most of the time it is On a Braille writer, it is an enter key, but on an electronic device like a humanware device, it's a backspace key. And then over here, we have 4, 5, 6. Sorry, that's really awful. And then just an enter key here. And then, of course, you have, obviously, a S, B, a spacebar. So that is a Braille keyboard. And obviously, when you type on a Braille keyboard, you'll type multiple combinations. So if you want to type an A or B, for example, an A, you would type A.1. And then if you wanted to type a B, you type dots 1 and 2 at the exact same time. So those are the basics of Braille and a Braille keyboard. I hope this video was helpful, and now I need to call the person who's trying to talk to me. Thank you, everyone. Have a happy holidays, have a safe holiday, and Merry Christmas.